Alright, we're back. We've received word from Squad 8. No unusual movements have been detected near the Twin Dragons Bridge. We've also received word from Squad 21. They report all high-speed armored cars are in position.
Understood. Remain vigilant until the Eisengraph has finished passing through. Once it reaches Crossbell City, have all squads switch to Phase D.
Yes, ma'am. Are you sure the Imperial Liberation Front will show themselves?
They will, I'm certain of it.
So I can't remember the Darth Vader-like dude from the Imperial Liberation Front. But was he Comrade A or was he Comrade D? It was one of the two. Because Comrade G is Gideon, the one we've had the most dealings with. Then there's the girl. Ooh, and then there's the big bulky guy. And I can't remember what their code names were. I think, though, the guy in the mask is either Laura's dad or Reen's dad. Probably Reen's dad. I don't know if Shiny Mewy earlier was really spoiling it, saying, spoiler, Darth Vader is your father. I think it was kind of a joke. But I do think it's a chance that it could be Reen's dad, and wouldn't that be interesting? It is kind of a Luke, I am your father type of thing. But is the Imperial Liberation Front really evil? Or are they going to end up being like the actual good guys trying to keep this weird noble faction from taking over? I'm really getting the vibes that maybe the Imperial Liberation Front isn't the real enemy. And maybe these nobles trying to take over the Empire or the Imperial government are the real enemy. It kind of feels that way, like maybe Eustace's father and this other Kanye West, what was his name? Cayenne Pepper, dude. I think they might be the real source of evil. But who knows? Maybe it's even more complicated than that. Maybe they, and what is really good when games and anime do this is not everything's so cut and dry as good and evil, right? There's good and evil on both sides sometimes in wars, and sometimes there's not a clear cut. This side was right and this side was wrong, and when storytelling is done that way, because that's kind of how real life works a lot of times. I mean, sometimes there is a clear cut good and evil. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes there's not. So let's continue. Sometimes in war, both sides are just evil. Or at least those in charge. I see. Sounds like Group A had quite an eventful couple of days, too. Yeah, though I find it kind of hard to believe you could have seen the ghost of Leon Sandlot. That's ridiculous. Are you sure you weren't just hallucinating or something? That sounds something like... That's so on brand for Machias right there. Can you think whatever you like?
We totally saw her, I swear!
Well, ghost or not, there was definitely someone there besides us. Anyway, that's enough about ghosts and spirits for the time being. I'm more concerned about the affairs of the living, like where Toval and Radiant Blademaster went. It sounds like Duke Cayenne Pepper. There you Duke Cayenne, yeah. I'm going to try to pronounce this correctly because I've just been making a joke because he seems like a ridiculous character. Calling him Cayenne Pepper, Kanye West, Kanyeezy. Duke Cayenne. Cayenne? I really don't know how exactly you're supposed to pronounce that. I think I'm going to continue with Cayenne Pepper. It sounds like Duke Cayenne is something too, and he's not someone we can afford to take lightly. We didn't run into anything like that in the Jurai Special Economic Zone.
Though I guess that makes sense, seeing as it's under the direct control of the Imperial government and not a noble. I seem to recall that it was annexed 8 years ago, is that right? Yeah, the Empire stitched it on nice and neat without much opposition. Now, it's proposing as a special now it's prospering as a special economic zone on the coast. Seemed like a pretty lively place. And the revenue generated from taxes there goes directly to the Imperial government's coffers, instead of the pockets of nobility. It's hardly a mystery why the reformers think so highly of it. Well, that aside, I am a little concerned about the upcoming trade conference in Crossbell. Same goes for the Imperial Liberation Front. They've been awfully quiet since they showed up last month. Now that you mention it, that does seem rather suspicious. Is it? Is it related somehow to why we're going to Garrelia Fortress? Well, it's not the main reason, but it's not entirely unrelated. Well, I'll let you look forward to finding out all about it when we get to the fortress itself. Anyway, how many of you have passed through Garrelia Fortress train before? Just Milliam? Really? I see. Just us, huh? I can't wait to see everyone's first reactions. True. So Crow and Fee, too. Why's that? Well, I've seen it in photographs at least. A camera can't really capture how ridiculous it is. Yep. It's supposed to be this macho gateway to the Empire, but it just seems like it's trying way too hard. What's that supposed to mean? The gateway to the Empire and one of the largest military bases in the country. I look forward to the chance to see it in person then. The train carrying Class 7 continued their ride on the transcontinental line, heading towards the east. They passed through the Twin Dragons Bridge, a cruising provincial army base, and several stations later, it was finally time to pass through Garrelia Fortress, which loomed large on the border with the Crossbell State. I feel like we're kind of ramping up towards the end of this game. This should be interesting to see how this happens. The Ministry of Railways wishes to thank all passengers for their patronage. The next stop is Garrelia Fortress. Garrelia Fortress. This train will stop for 5 minutes. Please be aware that only authorized personnel may disembark at this station. Be advised that all orbital photography is strictly prohibited within the fortress and is punishable by Imperial law. Any attempt at unauthorized recording may result in the confiscation of your equipment or detention by authorities. Wow, that was kind of... It sounded pretty severe for a train announcement. Well, we are passing through a military facility. I don't think they're being unreasonable. Do you really think that's the issue here? I'm not sure having to be one of the first things foreign visitors here gives a very good impression of the country. Oh, we're finally here. What in Adios' name is that? scale is just...
This is Garrelia Fortress?
The entire place is built from iron and concrete.
Just how much money has the army dumped into building all of this?
Yep, that was about as entertaining as I'd hoped.
Not that I'm surprised. I thought the same things when I first saw it.
From the Crossbell side.
From the Crossbell side, all you can see is a cliff, though. Yeah, but those two railway guns still poke out through it.
Hey, instructor. What did you bring us out here to show us?
What else?
We're here so you can see the true essence of what makes an army. What compromises the military strengths and forms its foundation. And what other place in the Empire has that on display as clearly as here? I'll have to say though, like, the difficulty of this game has been, like, it seems like it's gotten easier as it's gone along, but maybe that's just because I've kind of gotten the feel of how combat works better as it gone along. And I think I've kind of been progressively more and more prepared. So I hope that if this is kind of like the final stage, which it kind of feels like it is gearing up to be, it kind of ramps up the difficulty once again. Who are they? Engineers and tradesmen, mostly. You'll see a lot of them around here. Keeping a fortress this size up to running is a full-time job for more than just the military's people. So it seems. It's almost like its own town here. On the other side of this fortress, it's more or less a straight shot to Crossbell City, right?
To think that such a bustling center of trade is so close to a massive military facility like this.
Yeah, Crossbell City's only about 30 minutes away by train. From the top of the fortress, you can see the skyscraper where the trade conference is going to take place.
I see you've arrived.
Professor Neidhart.
Oh,
Instructor Neidhart!
Or Instructor
Good
Neidhart.
morning, Major Neidhart. Instructor Valestein of Thor's Military Academy, homeroom teacher for Class 7. Reporting the arrival of myself and all students in my care.
acknowledging your arrival at 11:30 hours. Welcome to Garrelia Fortress. In addition to my teaching duties at the Academy, I hold the rank of Major in the Imperial Army's 4th Armored Division. I'll be acting as your guide, as well as your instructor for special lectures during your time here at the fortress. Now, if you'll follow me.
Including today, you have 2 days remaining in this month's field study. However, we won't be assigning you any tasks during that time. Instead, you'll be participating in a series of special lectures and a field trip. A field trip here?
So, what exactly does that entail, instructor?
At 1400 hours today, a joint military exercise will be taking place at Garrelia's training grounds. The 4th and 5th Armored Divisions will be both participating, and you will be observing it. We're going to watch a military exercise?
The 4th Armored Division, huh?
The 4th Armored Division is led by none other than Elliot Stad, Lieutenant General Olaf Craig. By all accounts, it's one of the strongest armored divisions in the Imperial Army. And did you know our friend the Major here is the most promising young member? It's true. moving on. As I said, you'll be observing this exercise, not actively participating. I imagine that has some of you feeling rather relieved, doesn't it? It does sound like a pretty easy assignment after all. But we'll see how many of you feel the same after experiencing it for yourselves. That's all for me. It's currently 11:50 hours. Lunch has been prepared for you in the mess hall. I'd advise you all to eat. Your field trip isn't something to be undertaken on an empty stomach. So, this food. We have salty corned beef, and I think I'm getting a hint of peas from this soup. You could use this bread as a lethal projectile.
I do think it wouldn't have hurt to use a few more herbs or flavors in general.
Calling this edible would be generous. I've heard plenty of rumors about the food they serve in the Imperial Army, but I wouldn't have guessed they'd all be true. I didn't think the food they served in the mess hall at Zinder Gate was all that bad, though. I don't think it would have killed them to serve something a little more appetizing. This is the exact thing they served when I came here with my class last year. Probably from the same batch too, but the look of it, really brings back memories. Well, I was pretty surprised the first time my dad brought me here to eat too.
You guys really think it's that bad?
Hey, it really brings back memories for me too. At least there's some cheese and an apple. The food served in the army makes use of common ingredients that are easy to preserve and store. The ingredients used to make all the food on your trays can easily be stockpiled in large quantities. So even if a war were to break out, a meal like this could still be served without any trouble. So that explains it. I see. So the army serves simple foods all the time to avoid a decrease in morale from wartime rationing. Well, not all the time. However, one can think of this food as philosophical statement from the continent's strongest army, in the sense that it suggests that the soldiers should live and work each day as though a war effort depends on them. Every day? So they should be just as tense during times of peace as times of war? Well, it's a bit too much mind over matter idealism for my taste, but it's worth being aware of. And to throw the different perspective in the mix here, the food the Provincial Army serves is actually pretty good. Good enough that you can't help but wonder how they'd cope if an actual war were to ever break out. Well, it's not like they're serving good food means you're a crappy army. I hear our neighbor Labrel serves up pretty tasty food in their army. Labrel's army is fairly elite, probably because the threat of being neighbors to the Empire keeps them tense. I feel a little conflicted hearing you say that. Well, these things are all about finding a balance. Variety is the spice of life, you know. If you eat nothing but dull, bland food all the time, well, you know what they say, you are what you eat. I could do with fewer of your pithy remarks on my diet, Instructor Valstein. Anyway, as you've heard, there's going to be a military exercise at the training ground at 2 in the afternoon today. It's 12:30 right now, so you have an hour to do whatever you like. I'll make an announcement half an hour before, so be sure to listen for it and do whatever it tells you. Understood. So when you say whatever we like, does that mean we can tour the fortress? Of course, you're welcome to roam around, as long as you don't poke your nose into any restricted areas. So go ahead and explore. There's plenty worth seeing here, like the command center. Though, if you're feeling a little tired from your field study so far, you're welcome to rest in your rooms. It would be a shame to waste such a valuable opportunity. I suppose I should at least get a general overview of the fortress. Alright. So we can explore. There's a lot of story events too, huh? It sure does feel like the ramping up to the finale of the game, does it not? Alright. So let's explore. Motor pool, huh? Oh, taking a rest, Emma.
I did take a short walk around, but everything about this fortress is so imposing. It made me feel a little faint.
Haha, I feel you there. Look at Emma now. It's hard to believe that she's the same person who almost single-handedly guided us through that castle.
Green?
Nah, never mind. But there is one thing that's been bugging me lately ever since we arrived in Legrand. I feel like just out of the corner of my eye I catch a glimpse of this small black shadow following us. But ever since we got to the fortress, I haven't seen it.
Really? Maybe you were possessed by something.
Possessed? Yikes, that sounds kind of an unsettling thought.
It is, isn't it? I'm glad I told her to go back to where we reached Calden.
Oh yeah, Toll gave me a call about what happened in Legrand. So you had a mechanical monster show up outside city limits. Yeah, Tovall looked pretty concerned when we first mentioned it to him too. You know anything about them? Well, I'm no stranger to the group that makes them. They go by the name Ouroboros. They're a secret society of sorts that acts in the shadows all across the continent. A secret society. We don't know how many members there are and what they're capable of. Honestly, we don't know much about them at all. What we do know is that they have access to technology more advanced than most cutting-edge research institutions. And that they've been behind several crises that have threatened to shake the foundations of the entire nation-states. And these people are who made the monsters? If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I'd find it hard to swallow, but there's no denying what we saw out there.
Well, you don't need to come to grips with it just yet.
We call them mechanical monsters like the ones you guys fought. Archaisms? And lately, it seems an awful lot of them have made their way into the black market. There's been one sighted after another these days, all over Empire and beyond. Whoa, that's heavy. Does that mean there's a chance they might be plotting something here in Erebonia? Just in your opinion, I mean. Well, that's the tricky thing about them. It doesn't necessarily mean that at all. There have been cases where we know they put archaisms out into the wild purely to test their abilities, for example. Still, it's something to keep in the back of your mind at least. Right, I'll be sure to let the others know too. I heard about the fortress from my father, but seeing it in person really drives home its incredible scale. Oh yeah, your father helps train the Imperial Army in swordsmanship, doesn't he? I can see why he's so busy, if he's going around training all the soldiers in a place this massive. Indeed, I feel like there's a reality of what is finally sinking in for me as well. I have no idea how his teachings are actually being applied, though. Perhaps we'll have the opportunity to find out during today's military training exercise. I'm looking forward to it. The soldiers here seem pretty well trained. Pretty well equipped too, like you'd expect from the Empire's biggest fortress. You need to put in some serious prep time if you wanted to topple it. Fee, I'm not sure that's something you should say within the earshot of soldiers. Old habits die hard. Like some more story events up here. I thought there'd be like some shops and stuff, like some equipment shops or something, but I guess not. So you're the students who came to the tour of the fortress? Yes, sir. He's wearing an officer's uniform. I wonder if he's... This is Lieutenant General Walter, commander of the Garrelia Fortress. He also serves as the division's commander for the 5th Armored Division, which is stationed here. I apologize for not greeting you sooner, sir. Thank you for granting us the opportunity to tour the fortress. It really is an honor. Well, at least you aren't lacking in manners. Hardly built like a soldier, though. I have my doubts that you'd be able to endure the military's training regimen with a physique like that. You're sure? You sure you're training them properly, Major? My apologies, sir. Though I hear the Academy has a former bracer as their command instructor, they must really be scraping the bottom. I've heard of the Purple Lightning before, of course, but a bracer is still a bracer. Leaving such an important role in the hands of a civilian is ridiculous. This famous Thors isn't what it used to be. Well, no surprises here. It's like it fills every box checklist for stereotypical Imperial Army officer soldier. Anyways, a fortress commander, allow me to welcome you to Corellia. Keep in mind, though, that we're constantly on alert for potential threats from the east. I have no problem with your class conducting your field study here, but see that you don't get in the way. Of course, sir. Very well, I'll take my leave here, as I have business to attend to. He's certainly strict. Well, he is responsible for keeping the Empire's most vital defensive fortifications running smoothly. Considering the ongoing tensions between the Empire and the Republic, you should be grateful he allowed you to come at all. I won't forget it. Now, I'm afraid I must excuse myself as well. You're welcome to tour the rest of the fortress, but don't try to enter the command center. Of course, good luck with your work, instructor. I'll see you later then. Righto. Can I go here? This place is huge. Can't go there. Let's check out this area. This is the train where we arrived on the train down below. Okay. So many. This place is freaking huge. Seems like this is the hangar for tanks and armored cars. It's kind of staggering to see so many of them lined up in one place. I'm not looking forward to this. You've never seen a military exercise before, right, Reed? Yeah, this will be my first time. I take it you have then. Yeah, my dad showed me one of the last time he brought me out here. He really does want me to join the military, but I really don't think I'll ever be suited for the way he is. I get where you're coming from. The more I hear about his dad, the more curious I get. I'm not entirely sure how I feel seeing so many accents lined up like this. The Reinford Company makes these, don't they? Unfortunately so. I'm sure they'll be using them for this military exercise too. As far as I can tell, they'll be pitted against the older, automated models. That sounds pretty brutal. The older tanks won't stand a chance. Well, that's kind of the point. They want to show off just how easily the Axons can dominate them. Well, you don't get the chance to go eyes on with this stuff every day. I'll take the opportunity to see for myself just how competent they are. Haha, it's just like her. I want to see this military exercise myself now. They're really building it up, aren't they? Let's see what's up here. what's that? It's like a gunship or something. Looks like this is the fortress's airport. There might come a day when I find myself in a military airship. Like right now. Crazy, it really is night and day. Yeah, it's kind of hard to imagine two places more diametrically opposed. What's wrong, you two? Oh, we were just talking about how different this place is to Jirai. Jirai was super lively, but this place, I think Gro's having withdrawals now that he's somewhere without easy access to a casino at all times. I can imagine. It seems like everyone's talking about Jirai these days, though. Was it really that amazing? It was. I don't even know what to expect with the recent annexation by Erebonia, but everything looked fine to me. It has offices, an entertainment district, and all the people I saw were thoroughly enjoying themselves. I'd go so far as to say they're happy to be under the Imperial government's control. I don't know if I'd go that far. Oh? A little bird told me Chancellor Osborne was the one behind the annexation in the first place. It also told me he used some pretty forceful tactics to get them to agree. And of course, most of their tax money takes a brand new detour straight into the Imperial government's pockets. I wouldn't be surprised if he made the annexation happen just to fatten his pocketbook. But paying taxes is a citizen's duty. It's only natural that they do so now that they're under Erebonia's protection, right? Sounds like this is a pretty complicated issue. You know, taxes always are, unfortunately, a complicated issue, Reem. Okay. Where to next? I think we've been just about everywhere we can go, right? This is where we started. Was expecting more shops than just this place, so maybe we can find some somewhere. Search hard enough. We went to the motor pool. Did we go? Yeah, we went to the Central Flight platform. We couldn't do anything there. And the briefing room is just Sarah. What's this? I think I visited everywhere I can. Oh, okay. The corridor on the right leads to the right wing of the fortress. Left, you'll find the guest rooms and briefing room. The staircase over there leads to the command center, but you haven't been granted permission to go inside. That's just how it is, I'm afraid. Maybe we'll decide to show you around later. Okay. Welcome to Aurelia Fortress. You and your classmates from Thoros Military Academy have been granted permission to explore the fortress. As long as you don't stray outside the permitted area, you'll be free to do whatever you like. Okay. Where do I go now? I've pretty much visited everywhere. lot of stuff to buy here. This is very much feeling like the final hurrah. Let's save it real quick. This is a good spot to save. And we haven't saved in a while, so yeah, I'm glad we're saving now. Whew. Been awful if something would happen. So how do we advance the story here? It looks like we pretty much talked to everybody we can. Talk to Sarah again, maybe? Who do you mean? Just talking to myself. Anyway, you just focus on your field study right now. Between this fortress and the training exercise you'll be serving this afternoon, you'll have a front row seat to see what the military is all about. Understood, instructor. I thought maybe that might advance the story, but I guess not. I swear I've been everywhere now. Yeah, I know. I'm just... okay. We talked to all of our classmates too, right? I feel like we're missing... Have we talked to We haven't seen Milliam anywhere, have we? Emma's resting. What am I missing here? Mess hall's where we started. This is the... We were just up here. Yeah. Do we need it? I don't know. I didn't really talk to anybody up here other than... Any of you guys have useful anything to say? Okay. Oh, there's more. Looks like there's more places to go down here. I didn't notice that last time. Wow. Can't believe the size of this place. Oh, given those uniforms, you must be the students from Thor's. Feel free to look around all you like, but try to stay out of our way. We're all incredibly busy at the moment. So if you don't mind, I'd ask you to make your way to the corridor over there instead of hanging around here. Understood. Thank you very much. Might as well head over there. Gaius, are you okay? I'm just kind of shocked by how different the atmosphere here is from Cinder Gate. Well, it is a major military base right on the border of Crossbell. I never imagined it'd be quite this big, though. This place is just such a departure from Cinder Gate that I can hardly believe this is the same military. Although perhaps this is the true face of the Imperial Army. This fortress is the very definition of oversized, and that's ignoring the excessive display of military power. I imagine that the posturing is meant to show the Crucian Provincial Army that they can just crush them on a whim. I forgot what this place probably means to you and your family. I suppose, while I don't agree with my father's actions, I can't say I'm comfortable with this fortress's presence either. In fact, I find it hard to believe that anyone could sleep peacefully near a fortress like this.
Yeah, guess you can't see it from here after all. We'd be able to see it from where the railway guns are, but they'll get mad if I get too close to them.
What are you up to now, Milliam?
You know that huge Orcus? You know that huge Orcus tower where they're holding the trade conference? I'm trying to get a good view of that.
Oh yeah, they mentioned it on the Imperial Chronicle. They mentioned it in the Imperial Chronicle, and on the radio. Can you actually see it from all the way over here? That'd be incredible.
Would I ever lie to you? I wish I could have gone with Gramps instead of being stuck on some stupid field study.
Why did you go in Class 7 then? Speaking of which, they're going to be holding the keynote session there tomorrow. I wonder what they'll be talking about during it.
Most people are thinking it's just so they can decide on finance rules and stuff for Western Samaria. But I think it's really going to end up being about who Crossbell belongs to. Knowing Gramps, he might even try to get Crossbell to become part of Arabonia.
Seriously?
The prince is gonna be heir too, so he'll probably just try to shake everybody up a bit.
Unbelievable. Go there too, though, so here's hoping things go well. Alright. Dead end. What's with that kid? I knew we'd be getting visitors from Thor's, but they're older than that, right? How'd she even get in here? If she wanted to, she could just fly away on Lammy. Oh, you're a student from Thor's, right? Aren't you? Don't wander off on your own or anything. Security's on high alert because of the trade conference. We're working some pretty rough shifts already, so we don't need you to cause any extra trouble. Dang, still not done. Wait a second. Command area. Jeez. Okay. Where do we go from here? I feel like I've gone everywhere now. Okay, I have. This bulletin is to inform all Thor students that preparation for today's military exercise are now complete. Please assemble in the hangar immediately. Your transport is standing by. I repeat. That's Instructor Neidhart. This time must have passed more than I quickly than I thought. I suppose I should start making my way towards the hangar. Maybe I'll run into the others on my way. There, get out here. We boarded the armor cars and set off towards the training grounds. Here we go. The inside of the armored cars was narrow and cramped, and the smell of machine oil hung in the musty air. The cars shook and rattled over the uneven ground, tumbling us around like an iron coffin on wheels. Eventually, after enduring 10 minutes of jaw-rattling travel, unable to even peek outside at the scenery, we finally arrived at Corellia Fortress military training grounds. Wow! Accent's main battle tanks! There's plenty of older model tanks out there too. It even looks like they have airships here. Oh yeah, like the ones we saw in Nord. Welcome! Oh! Is it Elliot's dad? I believe it is. So that's Elliot's dad.
I don't see the family resemblance. Looks like the hair made the jump from the father to son, though.
I think Elliot looks just like him. I mean, I understand what they're saying, but looks like Elliot's dad to me. Reporting, Lieutenant General. Very good, Neidhart. And Instructor Valstein. I believe pleased to meet you. It's an honor to make your acquaintance, Lieutenant General Craig. Allow me to extend my deepest thanks for agreeing to cooperate with us for the Academy's curriculum today. Think nothing of it. Many of these fine youngsters may one day hold positions in the Imperial Army after all. Besides, I owe a lot to old General Van Dyck. And these must be... What a piercing stare. So this is Craig the Red. Elliot, my boy, it's so good to see you again. Huh? It must be half a year now since I last saw you. How have you been? That's a sharp-looking uniform you got, too. I've seen the photos, but it looks even better on you in person. Come on. Hey, you still got a long way to go if you want to put on some real muscle. There's part of me that hopes you'll stay my little cherub forever, but you're a man of Erobodia, and the men of Empire must be strong, stout, and ready for action. It was for your own good as a man that I held back my tears and enrolled you in the military academy. Dad, I can't breathe.
I feel like everything I've been told about him was a lie. There do seem to be some differences from the stories.
You kidding me? He seems like a cool guy. What a delightful commanding officer you have, Major. Words fail me. Dad, knock it off. I'll tell Fiona. Moving right along. Yeah, that was breaking just a little bit of military protocol, I'm guessing, his interaction with Elliot. I'm Lieutenant General Olaf Craig, commander of the Imperial Army's 4th Armored Division. I've been entrusted with the role of overseeing today's joint military exercise. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Likewise, sir.
It's a pleasure, sir. You've got one heck of a dad, Elliot. Believe me, I feel it in my in the bones. Now, let me give you a brief rundown of what will be happening. This exercise will consist of a simulated battle conducted by 2 of our armored divisions. Armored regiments at the formation center, infantry, armored cars, and airship will work in tandem, using their maneuverability to the fullest to obliterate the targets. As our targets today, we'll be using previous model tanks that have been decommissioned from service. Autopilot functionality will allow them to evade and return fire, but they've only been armed with paint bullets. However, all other regiments taking part in today's exercise have been equipped with live ammunition.
So, you intend to actually destroy the other tanks?
Ha! It would hardly be a live fire exercise if we didn't. The current time is 1400 hours, right on schedule. We'll now begin today's joint military exercise. Armored 4th and 5th commence combat operations. Glory to the Empire and the Imperial Army. Begin! Yes, sir! 5th Armored Division, Armored Regiment will advance first. Armored Car Regiment and Infantry Regiment follow their lead. 4th Armored Division, Armored Regiment, and Infantry Regiment advance together. Armored Car Regiment deploy to the left and right.
Aren't they afraid like some shrapnel might come flying their way? I don't know. It just seems like they're not that far away.
Wow! It's certainly potent.
So this is the kind of firepower it takes to fight a modern war.
You said those tanks are called Oxens?
Yeah, they're the type of main battle tank the Reinford Company developed 2 years ago. I've seen their spec sheets, but seeing their power percent tells you what numbers and decimal points won't.
They might be the strongest heavy tanks on the continent.
And the Imperial Army's got a couple hundred of those in the wings, huh? That's kind of crazy.
You try fighting things like these head on and you won't stand a chance. That's as true for your own nation as it is for others. I can't get used to this. Just the sound of the artillery firing is enough to make me start shaking. I don't think that's something you should get used to. I mean, if the sounds of guns and warfare ever stop bothering you, I'd be worried. Green? I guess this is another kind of strength. Thus, the military exercise came to an end. The 4th Armored Division, led by Lieutenant General Craig, withdrew to an encampment near the fortress. Meanwhile, we returned to the fortress, where Major Neidhart outlined the results of the training exercise. After that,
Sorry you had to wait for us to finish. Don't worry about it. We're the guests here after all.
Thanks for your consideration.
At the very least, I'd say dinner's a million times better than lunch was. I mean, it's hash beef day. Ah, that's an Imperial Army tradition, isn't it?
Ooh, just the smell's making me hungry.
Oh yeah, where'd your instructor go? She's a real looker. I was hoping to get a chance to talk to her. She went to the fortress commander with Instructor Neidhart.
She did ask us to eat without her tonight.
All right. Well, if she's with Major Neidhart, it's hard to compete with those guys from the 4th Armored Division. It'd be enough if they just had Craig the Red, but they've got the Major too. He's kind of scary.
Like a division of muscle men.
Anyway, we shouldn't keep you tied up any longer. Your hash beef's gonna go cold. See you tomorrow, guys.
Wow, it's actually delicious. It seems like night and day compared to what we had for lunch.
You're telling me.
Ah, come on, guys. What's with all the gloomy faces?
You think you guys might have had a bit too rosy of an outlook. What were you expecting to see out there? I'm sure you can't understand at least a little of how we feel. It's like, has everything we've learned in our time at the academy been for nothing?
Academics, the arts, individual skills, combat? None of those matter in the slightest in real warfare, do they? It's true. If all you're looking to do is fight a war, you don't need any of those.
All you need is plenty of troops at your command, the latest weaponry, and overwhelming firepower. Assuming you know the tactics to use them well and a strategy that employs them effectively, I suppose.
The Oxens are even more powerful than I was expecting them to be, too. I remember my mother boasting about their capabilities when she was trying to sell them to the army 2 years ago, but to be honest, I feel somewhat disheartened as well. I can't see there being a place for swords on the battlefield with weapons like those on the front lines.
Well, I don't think that means individual combat skills doesn't matter at all. Still, I think maybe we've misunderstood something. Maybe we've been misunderstanding something important all this time. What we saw in the military exercise today was power in the purest form. It has no morality of its own. It exists to bring about a result, regardless of the ideals or principles of those who wield it.
That's true.
In a sense, the same could be said of a sword or a gun.
And all the way up to something as huge as Gorelius railway guns, too.
I think I finally understand why they wanted us to watch that military exercise in the first place. They could have taught us in a less roundabout fashion.
Well, looks like you didn't wait for me to start the party.
Instructor Sarah?
So you spoke with the commander?
Sure did. I've got up-to-date info on the trade conference too, as well as the latest on the terrorist.
So there's new information about the Imperial Liberation Front?
Anyway, before I get to that, let me explain what you'll be doing tomorrow. In the morning, you're scheduled to participate in the Imperial Army's physical fitness training. In the afternoon, you'll be attending a special lecture. Well, I'll bring you up to speed on that info I just mentioned. After that, you'll be granted special permission to view the railway guns.
I see.
Looking forward to that. Sounds like we've got a pretty packed schedule. Well, we did bring you all the way out here, so might as well make the most of it. Every nation possesses power in the form of a military, whether that military is large or small. Gorelia Fortress just happens to have that power in a very striking, easy to understand form. As students of the military academy, you have an obligation to know the scale of the power. The Empire of Erebonia wields at present a power you might one day be in charge of yourselves.
What?
Anyway, Even at a meeting that long couldn't keep me away from trying the famous hash beef rice. I've heard it's the only decent food they have around here, so I've been looking forward to this all day. We should probably finish eating. Yeah, that... though it's gotten a bit cold now. Maybe I'll go and ask for seconds. Oh, Eustace, if you don't want the rest of yours, can I have it? I'd sooner throw it away than give it to you. Wow, Eustace. Jeez. That's a bit harsh. Okay, that should do it. Alright, that covers today's quota. Phew. I'm looking forward to a nice long bath. Well, you know how every time there's a military exercise coming up, the workload gets pretty crazy like this. Still, at least managing inventory has gotten a lot easier thanks to the Orbital Net. They've gotten everything hooked up on the network over in Crossbell, right? Wish the Empire would get on that a bit more. Think of the utility. Well, from the sound of it, you need special equipment to send signals through a wired connection to make use of it. And considering the size of the Empire, it's probably going to be quite a while before it's a widespread thing here. Huh? An orb mail? Looks like it's from HQ. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. This, right here, is the problem with the Orbital Net. There's no such thing as off hours when they can just send you orders round the clock. Huh? What's going on? So get this, they're planning on doing some extra exercise tomorrow. That means we've got to outfit 20 Oxens with C units by tomorrow. 20! Seriously? Might as well start up another pot of coffee. We're in for an all-nighter for sure. Do we even have that many C units left? Actually, another lot came by freight just this evening. Exactly 20 if you can believe it. Guess we'll just have to get it done. Dang it, at least let us take a shower. I'm gonna head to the mess hall and grab some snacks. You want anything? And on that note, it's a good time to cross over to the next video. See you in the next one, YouTube.